Wow, they really amped the angst in this episode. Like, honestly, this episode was so angsty, and yet at the same time, I feel like I just watched a 5-minute episode. It was like I blinked and it was done. I don't know what happened. It's like so very little happened. I need to find an anime that I can get into, or I'm once again able to just talk so much about it. Because as much as I love this show, there's just not a lot going on. So at the start of the episode, we got Hinata, who is once again there. And you know what? I always felt like there was something about Hinata that I couldn't quite place. Besides the fact that he's just, Hinata from that volleyball anime with nicer hair. And you know what it is? The best way to describe him is with one word. And that's simp. He is simping for the main so freaking hard. He is simping for his voice and just insisting that he has to be in the singing club. And really, aren't they all just simping for him? But Hinata is doing it at such a failure of a level. Like, I do not think he's going to join the singing club. My bet is still on him joining a band with those other two people. I don't think that he's going to join. But man, he's going to die trying, isn't he? He will forever simp after the main character. It's his fate, I guess. But you know what? Things aren't all bad for him. He has an exchange with Mikey or Mika, whatever. I'm just going to call him Mike, even though his character hates that. Because he is watching as this guy shows off this really cute and yet pointless looking keychain. And just Mike is showing off. And he's like, that's really rare. Wow, can't believe you got one. But you know what? I got 2 of them. So you know what? He may not be able to have his next door neighbor man. Or I guess they're not even next door neighbors. I just thought they were. He's not able to have the main character, but at least he has 2 of these equally ugly and cute at the same time keychains. So go for you, Hinata. Good for you. Also love how Hinata thinks that the archaeological club is the true threat to him not joining the singing club. Please! That club can't even contain the plot and be relevant for longer than a minute. That club is just there for the side plot. He's so not joining, and if he does, I'll eat my word. Speaking of that club, that weirdo teacher who opened a portal to the beach, he's still like flabbergasted over that, and he tries talking to this student about it, and that student's like, I don't have time for this plot either, and he leaves. Like, nobody can stick to this plot. They just keep walking off from it. Pretty much the whole episode is just them trying to get him to join the singing club or the band, like start a band. And they show up at his other work. Like, how many jobs does this poor boy have? How does he have time for school? Like, yeah, you definitely don't have time for a club if you're working at least 2 jobs plus school. I do not blame you. I had a hard enough time doing a job plus, like, 3 different clubs. In fact, I lost jobs because I kept having all these clubs. It's hard to juggle. Also, pro tip, if you're gonna try to recruit somebody who clearly is a bit timid and maybe a bit withdrawn, maybe don't have somebody who is super intimidating and scary asked for, him to join, because this guy is the true terror of this show. I didn't know, because he seemed so just mild-mannered, but he isn't. He is terrifying. Side note, I would really like to know the recipe to whatever the heck this sweet honey bread thing is. Like, I can't personally have sugar because you know, my body doesn't like it. It affects me in my glucose. But, you know, I don't care. I would be willing to have a 200 plus glucose level for that because that looks amazing. Really love how Yuta knows how amazing it is, and he just takes it from, you know, his buddy. Like, share with Sosuke. Let him have a bite. Like, that is a lot of food for one boy. You are so skinny. I'm sure that your stomach's not that big. Just let him have at least one bite. And nobody shares with him this whole episode. I don't think he gets a bite of anything. Also, why are they so insistent on having Saku? Yeah, he has an amazing voice. I get it. But listening to Hinata sing, Hinata also has a really good voice. Like, I actually double checked after the ending of this episode, like, who voices him again, which made me laugh because I was like, why is that voice actor so familiar? And I looked it up, and do you know who else he voices? Hinata from Haikyuu, the volleyball anime I had mentioned previously at the start of this review. Like, what are the odds? You're gonna voice two different cheerful orange-headed characters also named Hinata. Wow. Anyway, so Intimidating Glasses Guy does make a point eventually about how, you know, your youth is only for so long, and, you know, these clubs will help make up your time. And yeah, he does work too much, but clubs are enriching. I mean, I was in the newspaper club, I was in drama, I was in choir, I was in, God, what else? I was in a lot of, I was in debate, student congress. That's like 5 clubs already. And the drama thing pretty much kept me busy friggin' spring, fall, and winter, because there was 3 clubs. Not 3 clubs, but 3 dramas every year. So, you know. They then bring up what they should have started with, the whole lead of incentives. Apparently you can win points through these club stuff, and these points can get you discounts on food and you field trips and stuff. Like, this is the stuff. Like, tell him that he can go visit the wall or something, and maybe he'll say yes to your club. Like, why didn't you bring up the wall? That's all you need to do. If you bring up the wall, he'll go. Speaking of the wall, after he gets off work and stuff, he ends up seeing the ghost people. Like, I feel like he's the only person seeing them. It's weirding me out. I feel like they're stalking him. Anyways, the ghost people end up leading him to a very creepy cat who follows him home and basically just is like, I live with you now, even though he's collared. So, you know, like, I like how he's just like, well, I guess you can stay. Like, what a pushover, Saku. What a pushover. And he must be deciding to at least keep the cat for a bit, because he buys cat food, which he ends up spilling and making this other guy from the singing club think he's eating cat food. Like, how pitiful do you seem, Saku, that people would believe that you're eating cat food? Like, I feel sorry for this guy. Like, you're so pathetic. Afterwards, we get Sosuke actually bringing up the idea of, you know, forming a band, just the 3 of them, which, you know, again, I would have called ages ago because of the opening alone. A band was probably going to happen. But of course, later he turns him down, you know, because of his sister. Even though his sister clearly wants him to engage with people and, you know, join some clubs. Maybe learn to let go. I feel like he has a sister complex. I honestly do. I have so many questions on their family dynamic. Like, did she raise him pretty much his whole life? Where's the parents? at home, while he's feeding his cat that he now has, I guess, he daydreams what it would be like to join one of the clubs. And I find it weird that he just imagines like this very playful, just, go free, just fun time. Anyways, but then he changes his mind after he reads this book, which we don't find out until later what's in there. After reading it, he ends up turning both the singing group and Sosuke down. He's like, I can't. And then he angstily runs away. But ever the determined Hinata is like, I'm not giving up. And that night he gives him a flash drive and he's like, here's a song that I wrote or we wrote, I don't know. And he's like, listen to it and just get back to us. And, you just gotta admire his determination. What I don't really admire, and I find creepy, is how Sosuke and Yuta just are watching from far. Like, how often are they doing that? Because it seems like they are a lot. And the whole time, every time they do pop up, Yuta's writing a song lyric. And this time, apparently, it's too macabre. So we finally find out that there was a letter in the book. And the letter was from his sister telling him, that she only has so much time left. And she's entrusting Hinata's family to look after him. And that, he needs to move on, basically. And he's like, no, I can't do that. We then get a new character that I already knew about through the opening. And apparently he's an absentee member of the singing club. And instead of, going to school and stuff, he's just using the cats around the town, as what I'm thinking, to just spy on everybody. And I think that's creepy. No, wait, did we meet him previously? Was he ever... I don't know. I feel like we maybe saw pieces of him in a previous episode. It's been a bit since I watched the other 2 episodes. But, like, what is he doing spying on everybody for? What's up with this guy? Anyway, the episode ends with that white cat spying on Saku through... I don't know, maybe the cat's eyes are like lenses? Maybe it's the color, I don't know. But the white-haired guy is spying on him as he thinks, maybe I should join the sing club. I wish I could, but angst as he listens to the song that we can't hear. And again, that's the episode. I am so sorry that it took so long for us to get episode 3 out. As I mentioned in my other review for Heaven Official Blessings, I haven't been well. And I'm going to have times where I'm not well. But I'm getting there. And that's what's important, okay? I'm getting these episodes out. And I'm starting to get the groove of things. So let's do this. We got this. I promise I haven't dropped this series. I own it. I gotta finish it. It's on my shelf, I don't hate it. It's just... I didn't have time or I wasn't well, depending on the day. And Thanksgiving was a killer. So, yeah. But until I leave for Christmas, I should have time, hopefully, and I should be well enough to do at least 2 episodes a week. So, yeah. Thanks. All right.